Hey, thanks for coming tonight. Good to see you. Grab yourself a drink, pull up a chair. I've got a story to tell you. Cheers, mate. All right, here we go. Episode 1, Rusty and Chubsy. This is a true story about growing up in Western Sydney in the 70s and 80s with my brother Vic, and how I somehow ended up 40 odd years later living here in Tokyo. Part 1. The early years were far from what most people would call normal. My father was an alcoholic gambler with a bad temper. Never saw him hit my mum, but he terrorised all of us almost daily. Family was a strange mix. 2 older stepsisters, old enough to be my mum. Another sister, 12 years older than me, born on the same day, 12 years apart. Then 2 brothers, a year or 2 younger than her. And finally Vic. Vic was the closest to me in age, but he still had 5 years on me. Vic's name was Rusty back then. The older boys called him that because he used to piss the bed. Boy, he'd smack me around the back of the head if he heard me say that in public. They reckon the bed springs were getting rusty, so they called him Rusty. Kids can be real arseholes sometimes, can't they? I wasn't spared either. They called me Chubsy because I was a cute little chubby bugger. My eldest brother, we called him Flapper. We still do, actually. Old Flapper had big old ears like Dumbo. Second eldest brother's nickname was Plug. That nickname came about after he had a drunken fling with a young woman, and he plugged something that he shouldn't have. So the funny thing about nicknames is that they stick around longer than the stories that created them. My family members still call me Chubsy, even into my adulthood. So Vic was the favourite kid before I came along, and when I started getting spoiled rotten and I was the favourite, he got his nose a bit out of joint. Sometimes it felt like my older brothers hated me, and looking back, I could see why. So here's an example. Dad'd buy a big tub of ice cream, whack it in the freezer. And when the other boys went to eat it, he'd whack their hand away and say, "Get out of it! That's Chubsy's." No wonder they didn't like me. Now Vic especially, because he was around more than the other two, because they were already sort of in their teens around this time. And Vic made it his life's mission at the time to annoy the fuck out of me and get my blood boiling until I was ready to explode. He was a crafty bugger. He'd torment the shit out of me when Mum was busy in another room. He'd give me a poke here, a jab there, just enough to wind me up. Then when I finally snapped, he'd yell out to Mum that I was attacking him like a wild animal, like a crazy kid. One day, I remember I was lying on the lounge room floor doing my homework, and Vic would give me a poke and a prod and a jab and then a full-on assault. He was right into me, got my blood boiling. Fuck, I was ready to explode. I grabbed my pencil case and I threw it at him with all the force I could muster. The friggin' thing went right through the lounge room window. Tell you what, it went BAM! The sound of the shattered glass was like a slap across my face, and I knew I was going to be in the shit when Dad got home. Finally, we heard Dad's car flying around the corner into the driveway, almost hitting the house. He comes in, he's got the smell of sawdust all over him, because he was a wood machinist, and he had the odour of a pub. He'd been on the piss as usual. He comes in, sees a gaping hole in the lounge room window, and said, "Who did this?" Mum told him it was Chubsy. No mention of Vic winding me up to the point of no return. Anyway, I had to face the music, down with the pants, bending over. Dad's got his belt off, and it's whooping time. Whooping my ass with a leather belt. So Vic's reign of terror on his younger brother, me, that went on just about every day. However, when it was nice weather, we'd go and play outside in the sun on the grass, and it was great until he'd throw me on the ground, climb on top of me with his big fat belly. Then he'd dangle a strip of spit over my face, slowly lowering it closer and closer until right at the last second he'd suck it back up. Sometimes he misjudged the timing, or I'd end up with a face full of spit. You can only imagine the rage and the pure terror that cooked up inside my little brain. Back in those days, all of my brothers thought I was a massive burden, a real pain in the arse. One day when Vic was about 13 and I was only about 8, he and his mates were heading off to the local swimming pool. A bloody hot day. Mostly to perv on girls. I begged Mum to make him take me with him. He was furious. And just to make matters worse, Mum made him carry my kickboard. As we rode our bikes down the road, he yelled back at me, "I hope you fall off your bike, you little bastard." Seconds later, there he was, lying on the road with the bare metal handlebar of his bike jammed straight into his stomach like a sword. The handlebars didn't have any hand grips, so the bare metal just ripped into his guts. I can still remember Mum trying to clean up all the blood in the bathroom, and there I was looking at this hole in Victor's stomach. I could see right into his guts. It was horrible, something I'll never forget. I'll tell you what, I never ever asked to go to the pools with him again. Alright, that's it for tonight in Ton's Kitchen, After Hours. Thanks for dropping by and keeping me company. If you want to hear more stories from my weird old past, make sure you follow the podcast and come back for the next episode. I'll leave the light on for you. Until then, take care and good night.